action of the film begins with the wet fantasies of the girl Elvira about the beautiful prince Julian. Upon awakening, she, along with her mother Rebecca and sister Alma, go in a carriage to visit Cotta, a rich man, whom her mother is marrying. So Elvira appears half-sister Agnes. I show the decoration of the new house. She introduces the new girl to the groom Isaac. Not Newton, of course, but in the absence of stepbrothers, it can help if you get stuck in the fireplace. Noticing that the prince's palace is visible from the bedroom window, Elvira confesses to her new sister that she wants to marry him. In the evening, at a festive dinner with cake, the newly made family lavishly throws food before Otto dies right at the table, burying his face right in the dessert. Elvira tries to support Agnes morally, but she treats her sister with contempt, not allowing her to compare her father's death with her grief. In general, he agreed to the marriage only because of Rebecca's money. In a panic, Elvira rushes to her mother to inform her that her new husband has no money at all. This is heard by lawyers who have flown like vultures. They are ready to confiscate all property to pay off debts, without even waiting for a funeral. As soon as they left, the mother falls senseless on the floor. Elvira comforts her, promising to find a way out. For example, she can marry a prince. But Rebecca has no illusions. The daughter's face came out strongly for an amateur. Looking at herself in the mirror, Elvira squeezes out a pimple on her nose. Agnes at this time prays over the body of her late father for a better life for herself. Apparently, heaven has heard her prayers, because they are sending heralds with good news, an invitation to a ball in the palace, where the prince will choose his bride. For a couple of Agnes, invitations are also issued to her stepsister Elvira. I'm soaring in sweet dreams about the upcoming marriage. Elvira is being examined by a doctor of pretty aesthetic sciences. He suggests removing braces and removing the hump of demolition to create healthy competition for ballroom beauties. The mother promises to pay twice as much after the ball, hoping for a successful outcome. The doctor starts the operation. And if the braces could be removed easily and painlessly, then this did not work with the nose. He had to be hacked with a hammer and chisel without anesthesia under the heart-rending screams of the operated. During the healing period of the beauty caused, Elvira has to wear a special muzzle for her nose. In this form, the girl goes to Madame Sophie's school, according to royal etiquette. There is a selection of girls for the opening of the ball, including the main dancer and the secondary ones. This is a great chance to be introduced to the prince among the first, so the girls diligently learn the dance step. Elvira can't hide her joy, but soon the teacher asks her to switch places with Agnes. And in order not to see her face with a muzzle, Elvira is pushed into the very back row, where there are the least attractive candidates. At dinner, where Elvira has to follow a diet, Agnes raises the question of her father's funeral. His body is already beginning to rot. Rebecca replies that she will deal with this issue after the ball, when her daughter becomes the prince's bride. But for now they do not have money for such excesses. Also, the stepmother offers her stepdaughter to share her wardrobe with her stepsisters. This drives Agnes to such an extent that she leaves the table. In etiquette classes, girls are taught how to curtsy and walk with a straight posture, without shaking their heads, for which they are driven up the stairs with a book on top of their heads. When the list of those selected for the performance is posted, the girls eagerly run to study it. Elvira finds herself at the very bottom, instead of the candidate who was crossed out for some reason, but still madly rejoices at the chance. When the rehearsals of a particular dance begin, the choreographer Madame Vanya shows what needs to be done and asks who will repeat. Together with everyone else, Elvira raises her hand, causing the teacher to laugh. She lets the ugly duckling to spoil the party a beautiful swan. But in the end, she says that despite having talent, she needs to work harder. She was taken into the group not for her skill, but because her mother paid. While Elvira tries to hide her tears of disappointment, Agnes performs the leading role. It also turns out that the ball gown is too small for Elvira. The diet doesn't help, because at night she secretly eats buns. The girl complains to Madame Sophie about her appearance, but she, after examining her healing nose, praises her for the bold decision to change her appearance. To help the pupil, the teacher gives her something in the case. During a picnic with her sister in the forest, Elvira shows Alma that there is a tapeworm egg in the case. She plans to swallow it without telling her mother anything, in order to lose weight, feed the worm instead of herself. And after the wedding with the prince, he will remove the parasite with an antidote.
Then I'll eat as much as I want and still lose weight.
Alma thinks that this is too much, which leads to a quarrel between the sisters. But for the sake of a better life, the dream of a big and pure love, Elvira swallows an egg. Suddenly crashes next to a wounded bird. Elvira hears the voices of hunters nearby. They turn out to be the prince and his friends. The crowned one especially urinates on the sidelines, attracting attention with her bare buttocks. Noticing the girl, the guys in a vulgar manner make her an obscene offer, but the prince dismissively replies that he is not ready to climb on it. Embarrassed, Elvira runs away, but surreptitiously watches the object of her girlish fantasies. Returning home after dark, the girl discovers her stepsister Agnes in the stable, giving herself to lust with the groom Isaac. When Rebecca finds out about this, she calls her stepdaughter a wanton wench and demotes her to a servant and drives Isaac away. Satisfied that she got rid of her competitor, Elvira sharpens sweets, saturating the parasite inside herself. After 3 full moons, the date of the ball is approaching. The mother removes the muzzle from Elvira. The renewed nose has already healed, and she herself has shuddered thanks to the worm. Agnes is working tirelessly at this time. Nevertheless, plastic surgery continues, anesthetizing the area around the eyes. With the latest medical preparation based on coca leaves, Dr. Esthetician picks up a needle. With her help, he sews new thick eyelashes to Elvira's eyelids. At night, under thunderclaps with blindfolded healing eyes, the girl suffers from a tapeworm swarming inside. She wanders into the kitchen in the dark to starve a worm. Agnes finds her there. Feeling sorry for her suffering stepsister, she feeds Elvira. Alma, in the night listening to her moaning, he notices a red stain on the sheet. She started her first period, and this means that the mother will now begin to look for a profitable match for her marriage. Considering what the older sister has to go through for the chance of marriage, it's still a pleasure. During the next rehearsal, it turns out that Agnes cannot act as a leading dancer at the ball. Madame Vanya is forced to look for a replacement for her. After viewing the candidate, her choice falls on Elvira, who has gone through a number of cosmetic improvements. One evening, while Elvira was taking a plate of spaghetti into the bathroom at the same time, Agnes, who is now called Cinderella, noticed that her sister's hair was falling out. The deficiency of vitamins that go to the tapeworm was affecting. Rebecca invites a tailor to the house, who brought a ball gown for Elvira, posing as a fairy godmother. When she calls her sister to help her dress up, the tailor pays attention to Cinderella, but she spits in his face in response, which only provokes the man. Noticing that Elvira's hair is falling out, the tailor offers a wig to cover the emerging Zakos under Statham. After a night of dozer on the stairs, the girl notices Agnes, who has a dress from a trunk in her hands for the ball. Not wanting to tolerate competition, Elvira rushes at her sister and tears her outfit to shreds. After hearing their quarrel, Rebecca puts her daughter to bed, having treated her with tincture of opium. Cinderella at this time sobs near the corpse of her father, who is being eaten by worms. They never bothered to bury him. There she has a dream about dead mother. She says that grave worms made her a new dress, in which her no one knows that shoes in her division, and recalls that at midnight, her carriage will turn into a pumpkin. Going to the ball, Elvira is no longer worried about her beauty, but about the fact that Agnes is too happy, despite what happened. Nevertheless, at first dusk, the carriage rushes with her mother to the prince's castle. At the ceremony, the master introduces the guests to Prince Julian and his father, not forgetting to specify height, age, preferences, and so on. Courtiers greedily consider young beauties, releasing greasy comments between them. Is no exception Elvira. By this time, she no longer seems to be a terrible friend and a terrible girlfriend as it was before. After the presentation of the guests, it is the turn of the dance performance. Disguised as pupils, Madame Sophie demonstrates what they were taught at the Institute of Noble Maidens. Elvira is performing solo in the crowd of dancers. She even has a separate room with the dancers. At the end of the mandatory program, Rebecca is happy to inform her daughter that the gentlemen are lining up for the opportunity to dance with her. When Prince Julian prepares to open the ball with a dance, the applicants line up in a row. With the thought, "Can I see everyone?" The prince bypasses the girls. But his choice falls right at the very end or at the beginning, if you look at Elvira from the other side. Hardly believing her happiness, the girl dances with the object of her size, setting an example to other couples. But the music didn't play for long. But the frere danced for a long time. The event is interrupted by the appearance of a stranger in a blue dress and with a veil on her face. The prince's attention immediately switches to her, much to the disappointment of the former favorite. From resentment, she even activates a tapeworm inside, forcing her to run away from prying eyes. In one of the palace rooms, Elvira is sick of fresh tapeworm eggs carefully left on rags. When her mother finds her frightened, the girl says that she is dying. But Rebecca rightly notes that there are many rich men besides the prince, and in order to bring her daughter to her senses, she slaps her in the face. Returning to the ballroom, the girl diligently jumps in a waltz with one boyfriend, then with another, not forgetting to steal a glance at the prince. Suddenly, when the dance ends with the slope of the level of the bridge, she sees that under the veil of a mysterious stranger, who stole her Prince Charming, is hiding a half-sister Agnes. Realizing that incognito is revealed, she falls on her heel and leaves the event. The prince rushes after his passion, but then there is no trace. Only one shoe was left. Having picked up it, Julian asks whose shoes they say, who the shoes fit, and become his betrothed. Elvira, threatening Agnes with a cleaver, wants to take the second shoe. A fight ensues between them, which smoothly flows to the second floor under the door of Rebecca's bedroom. The woman tells her daughters to calm down. She has an important guest there, on whom their common future depends. Elvira tells her mother that Agnes stole the prince from her, but she doesn't care, she is busy with her own affairs now, and tells her daughter to go to bed. Having won the second shoe, Elvira still does not find peace. Her shoes are a little more than small. Realizing that with such paws, the prince cannot be confused, the girl picks up a cleaver, tries on the dimensions, legs and shoes by eye, after which she continues surgery, cutting off her extra fingers. Alma comes running to the screams of pain, followed by her mother and boyfriend. He, unable to stand the sight, faints. After giving her daughter a tincture of opium, the mother notices that she cut off the fingers on the wrong foot. The prince has a left shoe, which means he will have to try it on. Alma is against bullying her sister, but her mother is adamant in striving for a successful marriage. Having finished what she started on one foot, Rebecca cuts off her fingers on the second. In the narcotic intoxication of the tincture, Elvira has a wonderful dream as the prince, having tried on her shoe, calls her his bride. However, she wakes up and sees only bloody stumps. When the prince stays for the obligatory fitting, the girl, overcoming the pain, crawls to the stairs. Firm where she rolls down head over heels. Agnes finds her there. Without saying a word, stepsister comes out to meet the prince. Lying exhausted, Elvira hears are the words from her happy sleep, not her, and at the hated Cinderella. Elvira is crying from impotence and self-pity. How much strength, tears, blood and health she put on the altar of beauty, and everything turned out to be in vain. The prince got another one. Alma finds her sister on the floor and suggests getting rid of the tapeworm first. She gives her sister an antidote to drink, after which she feels sick. The parasite slowly emerges from her mouth, allowing herself to be grabbed. Alma pulls worm out, dreading its length. It's even scary to go fishing with such a person. When he finds himself outside, Alma cuts him as a symbolic umbilical cord connecting her sister, with the toxic desire for beauty imposed by her mother. Then Alma steals jewelry from her mother's bedroom, after which she helps Elvira go downstairs. The sisters get on a horse and leave the house, striving to leave the borders of the kingdom before Cinderella becomes a princess, and decides to return her father's house, the one where her father's corpse, never buried.